I got my notes, check. Pepsi, check. Sunglasses, check. Hat, check. Thick skin, check. And sources, check. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Blue Dude, everybody. This is where we cover all of college football. So if you're a college football fan, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I call my Patreons the shot callers, and I can't wait to live stream some games and watch it with my Patreons and the score prediction contest. That's going to be fun. You know, people crack me up. Even my own fan base, my fellow fans of West Virginia. People crack me up. And the biggest thing is Golden Blue Dude. You're a Neil Brown apologist if you think that West Virginia is going to have a bounce back year. Just admit it, Golden Blue Dude. You're mad that Dana Holgorsen left West Virginia. No, I'm actually not mad that he left. Well, look at what he's doing at Houston. Houston went 12-2 last year. He's having immediate success at Houston. Okay, yeah, they went 12-2. Did you look at their schedule? The only two halfway decent teams that they played, they lost to. First game of the year, Texas Tech at a neutral site. Got blasted, not just lost, got blasted 38-21. Yes, West Virginia also lost to Texas Tech, but it was a last-second field goal, 23-20, and we were letting that letdown loss to Oklahoma beat us again. We didn't score any points in the first half. Houston got blown out by lowly Texas Tech. All right, what about the teams that they did beat? Rice, Grambling State, who's FCS, Navy, at Tulsa, at Tulane, East Carolina, SMU, at South Florida, at Temple, Memphis at home. Maybe that's a decent win. And then at UConn. Then they go to the AAC Championship and get blasted by Cincinnati, 35-20. Oh, but they beat Auburn. Yeah, they did beat Auburn in the Birmingham Bowl, 17-13. A squeaker of a win, but hey, it's still a win. Auburn out of the SEC, right? Yeah, but Auburn went 6-7 and finished 5th in the SEC West. Houston didn't do anything last year. So no, I am not mad that Dana Holgorsen left West Virginia. And why do I think that West Virginia is going to have a bounce back year under Neil Brown? Not a Neil Brown apologist. There's a lot of things I actually don't like as far as what he's done at West Virginia. Number one, why did it take him so long to realize that we need an offensive coordinator? At first, he tried to call the plays. That didn't work. Then he handed the play calling over to Jared Parker, who doesn't have hardly any experience of that. That didn't work as well. Finally, Year 4, we go out and get a competent offensive coordinator in Graham Harrell. Neil Brown has got to learn from his mistakes sooner rather than later. And I also don't like losing high caliber recruits in the transfer portal. Tyke Smith in 2021, and then this year, Hakeem Mesdor in 2022. I know some things are out of his control, but that sucks. I mean, defense is our bread and butter, so losing any type of high caliber recruit off the defense hurts West Virginia. So there's a few things that I have complained about Neil Brown. But the one thing that I do like about him is defense. When he came to West Virginia, he realized that the first thing that needed to be fixed was defense. And he's done that. Even in his first year, not a great defense, not even a good defense. We allowed 28.8 points per game, 73rd. That's not a good defense. But then in 2020, we allowed 20.5 points per game. That was 21st. And then last year, after losing Tyke Smith and a couple other key recruits, we allowed 23.8 points per game. That's 45th. That is not an elite defense, but it's not a bad defense. Better than anything than what Dana Holgorsen put on the field as far as defense. It has been on the offense as far as where we've struggled the most. In his first year, we averaged 20.6 points per game. That's horrible. 116th. 2020, 26.5 points per game, 83rd. Then last year, 25.2 points per game. That's 88th. Offense has been our problem. Another thing that people like to say, well, he's not having as much success as what Dana Holgorsen did at this point in his career at West Virginia. Oh man, Google. It's a thing. Use it. So for Neil Brown in 2019, he went 5-7. Then 2020, 6-4. Then 2021, 6-7. For Dana Holgorsen, he took over in 2011, 10-3. He had NFL talent in the Big East. 10-3, and yes, we did blast Clemson. But then in 2012, we were even more loaded, and we went 7-6, our first year in the Big 12. And then in 2013, 4-8. So he actually regressed. And then in 2014, had another winning season, 7-6. So if you want to go by Dana Holgorsen, then Neil Brown just has to go 7-6 to keep his job. I'm not going to say that. I think he needs to go at least 8-4. But I think we will go at least 8-4. The biggest reason, Graham Harrell, offensive coordinator. Every time he's went to a new school for offensive coordinator, that school has jumped 8 to 10 points as far as average points per game. If you would have applied that to last year's West Virginia would have went 11-8. 11-1. Now, I'm not predicting West Virginia to go 11-1, but I think they're going to have a significant bounce back year because we'll actually be able to score. He's doing decent in recruiting, number 35 for 2022. That's about average for West Virginia. 2 4-stars and 23 stars, and then we're 33rd in the transfer portal with 7 3-stars. Although I think they're factoring in the injuries to J.T.Daniels, because if you take off the injuries, then he's a high caliber 4-star, possibly 5-star. So that's a little tricky right there. But I'm going by 247, and that's what they say. What about this year? Well, we got to look at their schedule. West Virginia's season will be determined in those first 5 games. That will tell us how good of a season West Virginia will have. We start off on the road to Pitt. Now, in the beginning, at the end of last year, I was nervous. I was like, gotta have faith in my team. But man, I think Pitt's going to win this. But I'm going to have hope. And then we went out and got Graham Harrell. And I was like, hey, maybe, just maybe, West Virginia can win a nail-biter. And then that attracted J.T.Daniels. I'm like, I think West Virginia's going to win this game. It's going to be close, but I'm pretty sure we're going to win. And then they lost Jordan Addison. So Kenny Pickett moves on to the NFL, and Jordan Addison transfers to USC. Now I am confident not only West Virginia will beat Pitt, but I think we'll beat them comfortably, maybe by like 10 points. It is a rivalry game. It is on the road, although I do expect 35 to 40,000 Mountaineer fans to be there, me being one of them. So factoring all that stuff in, I think West Virginia wins comfortably by 10 points. Not going to be a blowout or anything like that, but West Virginia will be the better team. After that, a home game against Kansas. Kansas will be better, but West Virginia is going to be much better. It's at home, easy win. FCS Towson, blowout, easy win. On the road to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's going to take an even bigger step back this year. They're not going to be any good, but it is on the road, so that will even it out. I think West Virginia squeaks by Virginia Tech with the win. And then at Texas. This is where I think West Virginia trips up because they're coming off an emotional win on the road to Virginia Tech. This is a back-to-back road trip, and Texas will have some talent. And it's not going to be a shame to lose to Texas this year. I think they'll go either 7-5 or 8-4. But if West Virginia loses, let's say on the road to Pitt, still beats Virginia Tech, and then loses at Texas, that's 2 losses. That changes everything. Now let's say they lose all 3 of their road games. That changes even more things. That's not good. So if it goes the way that I think it will go, I think West Virginia has a chance to go 9-3. Now, if they pick up 2 losses in those first 5 games, probably going to go 8-4, maybe 7-5. If they pick up 3 losses, you're probably looking at another 6-6 season. The defense will be solid, as it always is, and our offense is going to be much, much better. Now, if J.T.Daniels stays healthy, I'm confident in 10-2, maybe even better. But you do have to factor in that he might have an injury and might have to sit out a couple of games, or maybe a chunk of the season. But if J.T.Daniels stays healthy, West Virginia is going to be a very, very dangerous team. And all the Georgia fans were like, man, you're crazy. West Virginia is going to go 7-5 at the most. Well, you were the same Georgia fans that got mad, super mad at Kirby Smart whenever J.T.Daniels recovered from his injury and Kirby Smart stuck with Stetson Bennett. Why? You knew that J.T.Daniels wasn't just better than Stetson Bennett. You knew that he was much better. But you know what? It didn't matter. Your defense was so good that didn't matter. My point is, you knew last year when J.T.Daniels was a Georgia Bulldog that he was the best quarterback option that you had when he was healthy. Now that he's at West Virginia, all of a sudden, he's average. And you got to worry about those injuries. And yes, you do have to worry about those injuries. The big one was at USC. He did get injured at Georgia, but he did recover. Kirby just didn't put him back in. Imagine if Kirby would have put him back in. He probably wouldn't have even transferred to West Virginia. Probably would have been able to go to the NFL. But things happen. He's at West Virginia. And because he went to West Virginia doesn't make him all of a sudden an average quarterback. He's still J.T.Daniels. Now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments section what your prediction for West Virginia is going to be for 2022. I can expect just about anything whenever it comes to this. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.